All right, let's take a trip together. We're heading to the eastern coast of India, to a state called Odisha. Now, this place is special because its incredibly rich, ancient artistic heritage isn't something you just see behind glass in a museum. No, it's a living, breathing part of everyday life. So that gets you thinking, right? When your history goes back for millennia, way before writing things down was the norm, how do you keep your culture alive? How do you pass on your myths, your identity? Seriously, how do you tell a story that's 4,000 years old? Well, in Odisha, the answer is just as beautiful as it is brilliant. You tell that story with your hands. You paint it on scrolls and walls, you carve it out of stone and metal, and you literally weave it into the clothes on your back. So let's dive into that, starting with the paintings. And believe me, these are so much more than just pretty pictures. They're basically canvases that have managed to capture time itself. The sheer range of painting here is just staggering. I mean, we're talking about an unbroken artistic thread that stretches all the way from these mysterious figures you'd find on prehistoric cave walls to the incredibly detailed sacred scrolls that are still made today. So this is where it all began. In these rock shelters in western Odisha, the very first artists were using pigments they made from nature, like iron for red and lime for white, to paint what they saw around them. You know, hunting, dancing, just moments from their lives. But here's the really mind-blowing part. Some of the characters they drew look a bit like scripts from ancient civilizations like Mohenjo-daro. It hints at this incredibly deep, ancient connection. Now, you fast forward from those cave walls, and that tradition evolves into one of India's most famous classical art forms, Pattachitra. It's this super intricate style of scroll painting done on either cloth or even etched onto palm leaves, and the artists who master this are known as chitrakars. And how they make these is an art in itself, a process that hasn't really changed for centuries. First, they prep the canvas, a piece of cloth, with a paste of chalk and tamarind gum until it's almost like leather. Then, and get this, the artist just starts drawing with a fine brush. There are no pencils, no stencils, no undo button here. All the colors come from natural sources, and at the very end, a lacquer coat is applied to give it that amazing glossy finish and protect it for generations to come. So what are these paintings all about? Well, they're packed with epic stories, a lot of them about Lord Jagannath, who's the central deity in Odisha. You'll find stories from the Mahabharata, scenes from Krishna's life, and even these fantastic mythical creatures. And this art form isn't just stuck on scrolls. Nope, it's everywhere, adorning temple walls, illustrating manuscripts, and even used to make these really cool, intricate playing cards called ganjapa. Okay, so we've looked at the amazing two-dimensional paintings. Now let's step into the tangible, three-dimensional world of crafts, where the hands of the artisan literally shape the world around them. The sheer ingenuity of Odishan artisans is just brilliant. They use everything in their environment. They take simple earth and sand to create terracotta tiles that are said to bring good luck, or these absolutely stunning sculptures on the beaches of Puri. They use natural fibers like golden grass to weave beautiful, eco-friendly baskets. And of course, they work with metal, transforming it into everything from rustic folk art to some of the most delicate jewelry you've ever seen. I want you to just look at this number for a second. 4,000 years. That's how long a single metal casting technique has been continuously practiced here. Just let that sink in. It's called Dhokra. It's an ancient tribal craft, and it uses something called the lost wax method. Now, if that term rings a bell, it should. It's the exact same technique that was used to create the famous dancing girl of Mohenjo-daro statue. This is a direct living link to the Bronze Age, still being used today to create these amazing figures that capture the spirit of the community in metal. Now, if Dhokra is this ancient, earthy, rustic metal craft, then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you've got Tarakasi. Coming from the city of Cuttack, this is the art of silver filigree. We're talking about twisting fine threads of silver into designs so delicate and intricate, they almost look like silver lace. And they are not messing around with the quality. The artisans use silver with a purity of over 90%, which is why it has that incredible shine. And even though it looks so fragile, the artwork is surprisingly strong. They make everything from tiny pieces of jewelry to these stunning miniature chariots. Okay, so you might be thinking, this is all beautiful, but it's probably just stuff you see in a museum, right? Well, that's where you'd be wrong. In Odisha, this kind of art is absolutely everywhere. It's woven into the fabric of daily life. You see it in what people wear. The hand-woven saris from Odisha, like the Sambopuri and Bamkai, are famous. Each one is a work of art.
using a tie-and-dye technique where the threads are dyed before they're woven, creating these incredible, complex patterns. And for men, the traditional dhoti and kurta are often paired with a gamucha, a shoulder cloth that's its own little piece of handloom art. And it doesn't stop with the clothes. The traditional ornaments are just stunning, and even their names are beautiful. You've got the hansali, which is a classic necklace, or the elaborate ear ornaments called karnafula shinkla. The gunsi is this delicate silver chain worn around the waist. Every single piece is a form of wearable art, just steeped in local culture and tradition. And that's really the key thing to understand here. This art isn't just decoration tucked away in a gallery. You'll see it in the massive, awe-inspiring stone carvings of the great temples, for sure. But you'll also see it in the humble murals painted on village walls by women to welcome the goddess of the harvest. Here, art and faith are one and the same. So, as we start to bring this all together, it becomes really clear that we're not just talking about history here. This is a legacy that is very much alive and still being created every single day. You know, a line from our source material really just nails it perfectly. It says that the richness of Odisha's cultural heritage comes directly from this incredible variety of art and crafts. It's a tradition that's been carefully nurtured for thousands of years. Because at the end of the day, that's what all of this is. These paintings, these carvings, these fabrics, they aren't just objects. They are chapters in a story that's still being told. A visual language passed from parent to child, from master to apprentice, through generations of artisans who keep this entire legacy alive with their hands. Which kind of leaves us with one last big question, doesn't it? In our modern world of mass production and digital everything, Odisha is this powerful reminder of the beauty and permanence of things made by hand. And it really makes you wonder, what stories, told by hand, are the most important for us to keep telling?